What's up, everybody? This is Rob Stallone from StalloneSports.com coming at you Saturday, February 18th for the big college basketball card for today. Big Saturday slate. Hey, let's tell it as it is. You know, I've been struggling the last couple of weeks. Had a nice night Thursday, slowly getting back into it, but no way else to put it. Been struggling, but you know what? I'm just going to keep firing away. Trust the process, trust my handicap. This happens every year. You go through a swoon, and happened last year around the same time, and then into March it just got red hot. I expect to do the same today. I'm not going to overreact to a couple week losing streak. You shouldn't either. Manage your bankroll. Keep your units the same. Tread lightly when you're struggling, and just keep grinding. No need to panic here. We're going to be just fine. So I got 6 plays for today. I'm going to try to make this video a little bit quicker. But I'll go through all my 6 plays and briefly talk about those games. First game is going to be Baylor, -2, as they host Kansas today. Now, Kansas has had Baylor's number in recent meetings, no doubt, but I think this is a good spot to support the Bears here. Kansas has been escaping games by their skin or their teeth recently, and as they go to through the Big 12, they have the target on their back every night, having won 12 straight regular season titles or whatever it's been. You always get a team's best effort against Kansas, and this Big 12 has been a gauntlet this year. But I think fatigue is becoming a real problem for Kansas, and you could see that against West Virginia. They were dominated for 37 minutes of that game until they got the miracle win at the end. People who look at that box score will be like, oh, okay, Kansas won in overtime. No, I'm sorry. They did not deserve to win that game. Miracle comeback. A lot of things had to happen there for them to win that game. But hey, they did, and maybe we can take advantage of it here. I think there's a letdown here for them. This game means so much more to Baylor. They're 13-1 straight up at home, looking to avenge 3 straight close losses to the Jayhawks, including one in Fog Island earlier this year. Baylor has the massive edge inside the paint, and I think they're going to pound the paint with Motley and really try to get the Kansas in foul trouble. They're very thin right now, especially with their bigs. They lack depth to begin with. I think Baylor can exploit this. KU has been on a lot of right sides in these coin flip games, but I think they're going to come up short today. This is Baylor's Super Bowl game. I don't really like saying that, but it is. This game means much more to Baylor. I think they're going to slow down the pace, and they'll grind out Kansas here late. I think they're going to get a 3 to 6 point win here. I'll lay the bucket with Baylor. I think they can get it done here today. Maybe some halftime opportunities with this game too. If Baylor takes the lead into the half, maybe come back with Kansas a little bit. But I like Baylor to get this win. -2, I think that's cheap. That's a fair price to support Baylor here. I think they get the job done. Second pick, George Mason, Patriots, +4. They're playing their best basketball of the season right now. I've been on them a couple times in recent weeks. They've won 5 of their last 6 games, and their offense has really hit stride in recent weeks. And I think there's going to be too much for Rhode Island here to keep up with. The Rams are a very good defensive team, but they can struggle on the offensive end of the floor, shooting the basketball from 3 and the free throw line. And with the exception with their 11-point win at Davidson, they did not have any other impressive road wins this year. They really don't. They're a tough team, senior-laden team, but it's not easy for them to win by margin, especially in these road settings. George Mason has been really has been shooting the lights out recently, and there's too much value to pass up on. I'm getting 4 points at home. I had this game lined as a pick'em, so and I still had George Mason circled last night. I'm seeing +4s today. That's too many points here for the Patriots at home. This is going to be a tight game throughout. George Mason playing their best basketball this season. Rhode Island coming off 2 straight losses, including they put 43 up on the board against Fordham last game in what was a letdown spot, but 43 points, are you kidding me? They're only shooting 60% from the free throw line this season. For the year, I think they're 325th in the country at the free throw line. In what should be a close game, I got to take George Mason here, plus the 4 at home. Too many points to pass up on. There's value here. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm not sure, but I'll gladly take the +4 with the Patriots of George Mason here against the Rams. Next game, USC, +9.5. You can get +10, I'm sure. I got the 9.5. It's 9.5 right now, but I think we might get a 10 later. But for the purpose of this video, I'll take 9.5. Now that this team is fully healthy, USC, I'm really looking to play on them in spots as the season winds down. This is a well-coached team, a balanced team on both ends of the floor. And they already defeated UCLA this year, and they beat them the last 4 times. they're having an impressive season, UCLA, no doubt on the offensive end. Their offense is spectacular, but their defense has issues, and they have trouble covering in this point spread range because of that. USC will not be intimidated by this team or the environment today. This is a game that they expect to win. They don't just expect to hang in, or maybe they can play well enough to hang with UCLA. No, they expect to win this game. They beat them 4 times in a row. Will not be intimidated in this environment whatsoever. And UCLA hasn't been able to win by margin on this floor against the elite Pac-12 teams. They lost to Arizona on this floor by 11, and they have a 3-point win against Oregon. They've been able to feast on the weaker teams in the conference with their dynamic offense, but the Trojans didn't even have Benny Boatwright in the first matchup, and they handled the Bruins at home. His paint presence will be a big plus for USC. I think they're in this game throughout. 9.5, give me that all day long. I think this game can come down to the wire, single digits the whole entire game. Wouldn't surprise me to win USC win outright. Give me the 9.5 or 10, and if you can get 10 or better, that's definitely a solid wager. Anything 9 or better, I would bet USC here. Next game, we got North Dakota. We got some Big Sky action here, and don't tell anyone, but this North Dakota team has been cashing tickets all season long. They're 13-7-1 ATS, and the Fighting Hawks have already taken care of Weber State this season. They beat them by 6 in mid-January. And there's first place on the line in the Big Sky here. I like to go after these small conferences at this time of year. A lot of things go under the radar, and I expect a tight game here, and one that North Dakota can win outright. Weber State has been poor in this home favorite role all season long. They've been burning money at home, going 2-5 ATS at home this season. They've only covered 2 of their last 10 games against the spread. Meanwhile, North Dakota comes into this game covering 8 of their last 10 ATS. They've covered 4 times in a row against this matchup. I think this thing goes down to the wire. I'm surprised this is +6. These are 2 nearly identical teams. They're going for first place in the Big Sky today. I am not convinced the 6 holds up. I'm even seeing some money trickle in right now in North Dakota. I would definitely be on North Dakota here. Anything over 4.5, I would gladly take the Fighting Hawks. I think they could win this game outright. Should be tight. I got +6. Still some +6s out there. I would grab that with North Dakota in what should be a really good game here today in the Big Sky. Next game, Georgia Bulldogs +7.5. Look, the Bulldogs have been the king of the close game this year. They've been on some heartbreaking, on the side of some heartbreaking losses, including an overtime loss at Kentucky earlier this year, a game we were on them, catching some ridiculous number, 14 or 17 or something like that. That's a game they should have won outright. They crumbled late, and this is a role I want to support the Bulldogs. They're catching 7.5 at home. It's their last chance for a big signature win within the SEC. And yes, Kentucky has been playing much better defense as of late, but they have really struggled to cover these types of numbers on the road. If Georgia can guard the 3-point line, I expect them to be in position to win this game outright. They should make it a point to feed Maton in the paint and get to the free throw line and try to really muddy this game up and slow it down. This looks like a nice spot to back Georgia here, looking to avenge that OT loss earlier in this season. Kentucky is still a young team. They still have flaws. I don't think their defense is fully fixed yet. They go through swoons where they look a little bit lost. +7.5 with Georgia at home. Too much value to pass up on. They have shown they can battle tooth and nail with anyone in this conference. I expect them to do so again. Look to avenge that earlier loss. Take the +7.5 with Georgia at home. Next game, second to last game, we got Texas Tech +12 on the road in Morgantown, West Virginia. This is simple for me. Texas Tech is a hard team to blow out. They take care of the ball. They play slow. They make good decisions. It's a senior-laden team. They don't beat themselves. And they have played so many close games this season, including a 1-point OT win over West Virginia earlier this year. And West Virginia coming off that inexcusable loss at Kansas, that collapse late. I think there's some kind of hangover effect. Some may see it as a good bounce-back spot, but I think there's lingering effects to that game. And I just think when you make West Virginia play in a half-court game, as Texas Tech will here, they struggle to score, and they're not that good defensively in the half court. They thrive on getting turnovers and forcing action in the open court. I do not think they're going to get that against the Red Raiders, who really take care of the ball. Senior-laden team covered 4 straight games, and they look much better on offense now than they did earlier in the season. They're really starting to figure things out. They will not be intimidated by this venue. They will not be rattled by the pressure. They only had 12 turnovers in the first matchup against West Virginia, and they shot 50% from the field. Now, I know that was at home, but if you can limit your turnovers against West Virginia, you can be in the game, absolutely. If they can duplicate that success they had in the first game, they should be able to hang in this number, no problem. Plus 12, give me Texas Tech here. Anything double digits, I think you should take a shot with the Red Raiders. I'm not sold on West Virginia laying this number. I don't think they're going to get out in transition with easy buckets here. I'm going to take the Red Raiders plus 12 in this dog roll here. And last but not least, I got a money line parlay. I got Iowa and Marquette, and you parlay those. It pays about plus 120. I got plus 121 actually. I like both of these teams today. Got the W. I just didn't want to lay the number with either team. Marquette's laying about 3.5. Iowa's laying 5. I'm just going to parlay them together on the money line here. Marquette looks to be catching Xavier at a good time here without Blewett and Sumner. Xavier really struggled without Blewett at Providence. You know, they played well in the first half, and then they really bogged down at the end of the game. They just had no answer on the offensive end. Blewett is listed as questionable, but the minus 3.5 tells me he's not going to play. If he was playing, I think this game would be more like -1, -2. So I'm going to assume that he's not playing here. I'm going to take Marquette on the money line. I think their offense is going to be too much for Xavier to handle. They're not going to be able to keep up without their 2 best offensive players, so I like Marquette to get the W here. As for Iowa, they have Illinois coming to town. You know what? I think Illinois is thrown in the towel here. They're really going with a youth movement. They're starting a lot of young guys. And I think what they're doing is telling. You know, they're trying to build for the future, and that's understandable. This season's pretty well thrown away at this point. And Iowa's a young team in their own right, but they've been playing really well. They really share the basketball. They've been great on this home floor. They're 12-3 straight up. Meanwhile, Illinois is only 1-5 straight up on the road this year. The Hawkeye defense is questionable. I do not want to lay the 5 with them. I don't really trust them, but I do like them to win this game. I'll be surprised if they lost here. I'll take Iowa to win this game. So we got Iowa and Marquette parlayed, plus 121. Okay, that's the 6th place. So just to recap, we got Baylor minus the 2, George Mason plus 4, USC plus 9.5, North Dakota plus 6, Georgia plus 7.5, Texas Tech plus 12, and moneyline parlay Iowa and Marquette plus 121. There you have it. Those are my 6 plays for today. Looking to get back on track. I like this card today. I got a good feeling about today. And we're going to start making our push into March Madness. Just got my tickets in the mail, heading to Buffalo to watch the first round. I'm really excited about that. So best of luck today. Hopefully we can have a winning day. Let's go 4-2, 5-1, 6-0, something of that nature. We're due for a big one. So hopefully we get it here today. I'm still hitting about 51% of the year, but that's not good enough. I'm ready to bounce back here and really start rolling into March. Have a great day. Enjoy the games, and good luck.